would you like to learn about the planets?
Of course I would.
So mission 3 of the lab is learning all about the planets, and the best way to learn about the planets is to make planets. So what we're going to do in mission 3 is we're going to make a series of planets. We're going to make the planets, and we're going to make them so they're all relative scale. That means if one planet is a certain size, the other planet is going to be relative size to that one. First thing we need is to make our liquid mixture, our combination of vegetable oil, this kind of stuff you cook with, water, and a little bit of concentrated lemon juice. We're going to mix them in a microwavable bowl because we'll have to heat this in the microwave. And then we're going to add our lemon juice. Our last thing is going to be 3 tablespoons of simple cooking oil. We're using corn oil, and this gives us our mixture. And what you see here in our bowl, this kind of is like a little bit of a liquid on the bottom with the oil floating on top. So get a spoon and mix the whole thing together, and then have a grown-up help you microwave it, and for about 3 minutes. When it comes out the microwave, it's going to be really hot, so you're going to want them to pour it. That's all we have for mission 3, video number 1. We're going to run off to the microwave, we're going to cook this down, and then when we come back, we're going to make the dough that we need to make our planets. Mission 3, part 2. We've got our heated ingredients. What we're going to do is form the dough that's going to make our planets. So to do that, we're going to add 3 cups of flour into our mixing bowl. And then adding to that, we're going to add 3/4 of a cup of salt. One of the great skills that I teach all my chemistry students is the ability to mix. So let's mix up our mixture, and as we're doing it, you're going to want to get your grown-up to help with this part because this mixture is still hot. So we'll start pouring this in. So we're looking here to have it the same all the way through. And remember, this will be hot, so you'll want to use a stick or something to stir it with. Let's show our audience how our mixture's coming as we continue to stir. And that's looking really, really good. But we're not quite there for making planets yet. What do you think of our planet mixture so far?
It's gooey.
It's gooey, that's good. But what color is our planet mixture so far?
It is pretty whitish.
So we're going to have to kind of spice things up a wee bit and add a little bit of color if we're going to make all the planets. And do you think all the planets are the same size?
No. Oh, no.
So we're also going to make our planets to be different sizes as well. And we're going to get to that in part 3 of mission 3. To be continued. Mission 3, part 3. We've made our material that we're going to make our planets from. What we're going to do is make the planets. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Now, the important thing to remember is not all planets are equal. And when we see those planets up in the sky and we see these planets in the movies, on the TV, we have to remember they're all really, really different sizes and really, really different colors. And so as scientists, we want to make a good model of all of our different planets. So we're going to try and make them all the right scale. So we're going to start with the planet that's closest to the sun. And that planet is called Mercury. And we've gained a helper who's going to help out as well. So what we're going to do is we need Mercury to be, are you ready for this?
Ready.
The size of a blueberry. So my team here is making something the size of a blueberry. And you're going to add the food color for me, right? Just squeeze 1 drop of red because Mercury is a red planet. Not the only red planet. How's our Mercury looking? Our Mercury looks awesome.
Okay.
Next up, we're going to go to the next planet from the sun.
Okay.
And that's going to be Venus.
All right.
We're looking for something the size of a grape. And I think Venus is going to be a yellow food color, so you're going to add the yellow on this one. And let's add 2 drops to that one.
2 drops?
We want to make sure that
Holy
it's yellow.
cow.
It's a bigger planet, so we need a wee bit more color. You know what color our planet is? Do you?
Yellow.
Yellow, no. The Earth is actually 2 different colors.
Oh yeah, blue and green.
Blue and green, there we are. Blue for the oceans and green for the things. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to make the Earth in 2 parts. So we're going to basically make it, it's just slightly larger. So we're talking a very scientific unit here, half a grape. So half a grape in one hand and half a grape in the other hand. And we're going to add 1 drop of blue to one and 1 drop of green to the other one. And then you get to work out how to mix these around in 2 separate chunks. And then we're going to put the 2 together because from space, our planet looks like different bits of green and different bits of blue.
Our planet's very gooey.
Planets are not very gooey, but some of them are very gassy. So some of the bigger planets that we're going to get to are actually called gas giants. So next up, our next planet is going to be Mars. Oof. And what color do we think Mars should be? That's right, it should be red, and it's just going to be slightly larger than the Mercury. So it's going to be a big blueberry. A big blueberry, the delicious blueberry type. Yep, a red blueberry, which seems a weird thing in words. Now, there you go, just squeeze your red on there. Perfect. All right. And your hands are going to get really messy doing that, but scientists get messy all the time. Next up, this is why we made so much dough. Are we ready for our technical unit of measurement? Yes. We're making a planet the size of a golf ball. A golf ball. And yes, we need color, but it's a pale color for Jupiter. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to do it in 2 different drops of color. We're going to do 1 drop of red and we're going to do 1 drop of yellow. And do you know what happens if we mix red and yellow together? Orange. Orange, that's right. So on you go. And then we're going to start mixing that and we're going to make our big model of Jupiter here. So, but Dr. Graham, is this to scale? This is to scale, yes. Okay, I think because Jupiter would be... to be honest, we're making a couple of cuts because if we really wanted to do this to scale, this would be the size, I think that my students told me, it'd be the size of a cantaloupe or something. Yeah. Now take a look at that. Is that not cool? So our next planet's another big one, and we're not making a scale model on this one. We're actually going to make Saturn, and we're also going to make it about the size of a golf ball. And what color do you think Saturn should be? Red. Yep, red and yellow again. Except we're going to make this one a bit darker, so we're going to use 2 drops of red and 2 drops of yellow. So let's make this one really dark. There we go. 2 drops, give or take. That's the good way of doing it. And so we're making a nice dark planet. All right, now we're getting far away from the sun. The further, more planets we make, the further we are away from the sun, and things are getting cold. And what color do you think something that's cold is going to be? Blue, yes. So next up we have Uranus, which is going to be slightly smaller than a golf ball. So a wee golf ball, that's a technical Scottish term. And so we're going to add some blue to that one. It's a lot of work, but we're making some cool planets, and if you want to make them even more colourful. And remember, this is just a guide, so you don't have to do them our way. You can do them whatever colour you want. Our last real planet is Neptune, and that is going to be basically blue and about the same size as Uranus. A wee golf ball. A wee golf ball, okay. Yes. And a wee blue cold golf ball very, very far away. And we'll see later in another one of our missions just how far away it is. Oh, it's a pretty planet. That's a pretty planet. That's a pretty planet right there. And you know, these are all the planets of our solar system. But there's something else out there. There's moons, and there's another special case. When Dr. Graham was young, we had another planet in the solar system. But what's happened is we've decided, we made some rules of what you have to be a planet. And this planet was just a wee bit too small, and it also had a lot of junk floating around where it floats around in space. So we don't call it a planet anymore. We use the term dwarf planet, but we don't want to leave it out from this experiment. We want to keep them in. So we're going to make one last one. It's going to be the size of a pea, so it's going to be really, really small, and it's very, very far away, and it doesn't even get any color except the color that's washing off our hands, and that is called Pluto. And what we've done here, we've made all of the different planets of our solar system from the sun. So what we're going to do, since we mentioned it several times, we're going to take a big, big chunk of our leftover dough. We're going to try and make a big model of the sun. And what color is the sun? Yellow. Yellow. So you're going to go crazy on the yellow. In fact, why don't you squirt some yellow into the bowl right now? Even more. Even more. There we go. And what we're doing here is trying to make a big model of the sun, because compared to everything, it might not look very big up in the sky, but the sun is definitely bigger than anything else in the solar system. And you might have to work at it a wee bit, you might have to roll it, but we will get a model of the sun. And it's not a perfect sphere either. The sun is a blob. There's lots of gases and reactions, and it's where all our light and our heat actually comes from. And is that not an awesome looking sun? Yes. Yes, it is. There we go. And we plop our sun down. So what we've done here is we've made scale models of all of the planets of the solar system and the sun at the center. From the sun to Mercury to Venus to Earth to Mars to Jupiter to Saturn to Uranus to Neptune, and all the way out there in the far, far distance is good old Pluto. Now, you might be wondering, are these spaced out right? And that's something we're going to talk about in a later mission. But for now, the first half of mission 3 is complete. Mission accomplished.